Great. Good morning, everybody. My name is Barry Cowan. I'm the president of the Deerfield Beach Computer Club since 2005. I want to welcome all of you to today's Zoom meeting featuring our guest speaker, Judy Taylour of APCUG. But before we begin her presentation, which will be kind of rapidly because I have very little to say, just keep a reminder that the Worldwide Development Conference for Apple is June 5th to 7th this year. It's going to be broadcast in mixed mode, virtual as well, pre-recorded as well as live, and it starts at 1 o'clock Eastern time. There's a lot of things that are new in Apple. The new phones will be coming out. They'll be talking about iOS 17, all kinds of things that you don't have a need to know about right now. But suffice it to say that if it ain't broke, don't fix it, no matter what it is. And let it stay. If it's whatever it is, if it's a program, if it's an app, if it's anything else, if it's working for you, stay with it. There's no reason to go jumping into Windows things that you don't really understand or need to understand. People were trying to jump into Windows 11 and 10. I don't even know what it will be called in 2025 when 10 expires. So it might be Windows 13, 14. So don't worry about those things and just enjoy what you have. Okay. Let's see.
They're working on Windows 12 as we speak.
Sure. Okay, so without further ado, I would like to introduce Judy Taylour, who is the president of the Santa Clarita Valley Computer Club in California. She's a member of the APCUG Speakers Bureau, a 35-year member of the club where she serves as president and webmaster. In addition, she co-facilitated the Southern California Regional User Group Summit, SCRUGS, a group of computer clubs in Southern California that met quarterly for over 20 years to share ideas and presenter information and solve problems. This work helped two groups remain active. She spent 23 years volunteering with the Southwest Technology Conference, held in San Diego, for 20 years, and 3 years at Cal Poly Pomona. In addition, she served as chair or co-chair for 21 years. Her responsibilities included registration, scheduling speakers, and working with the volunteers. She taught adult education technology classes for over 20 years through her local high school district. She is a Pierce College Computer Applications and Hospitality Management Advisory Committee member. Take a breath, Barry. They meet annually to suggest courses and hardware for the next school year. She firmly believes in lifelong learning and enjoys giving presentations via APCUG Speakers Bureau. And today she's going to tell you how to turn your kitchen into one that works for you and makes it fun to do everyday kitchen tasks. So what's cooking, Judy? You can put on your first slide whenever we're ready. Let's give her a warm sitting ovation.
Thank you, Barry. And my COAT meeting is coming up in May. And we usually have them in person, but they're renovating the building for those classes. And so this will be the second year we've been online. So they send us cookies because we always have lunch. So they send us cookies if we would like them. And I'm thinking, does anybody ever turn them down? Don't you want, the college to send you cookies? And it's interesting that there's people from industry there's people from employment agencies, teachers, and then when they start talking about the computers, they all turn to me, the little old lady who's been going there for 1,000 years. I get the biggest kick out of that. And it's like they're working and stuff, but they don't have the knowledge that we all get interacting with, our club members and me with interacting with not all of, but so many groups in APCUG. That just gives me a laugh, but they all go, turn their, in meeting in person, they just turn towards me and I'm thinking, not too shabby, old lady. So I'm going to share my screen. Ba, 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 ba.
I think I muted everybody. Okay. Right. Looks good.
What's cooking? Here's a cute little cartoon that goes along with this. There's the trash can down in the lower left-hand corner with the ransomware request. You have to have security on all your home automation stuff. And I am 35 miles northwest of Los Angeles, and I'm on one edge of a canyon, and on the other side, it has been wonderful green, and it's already turned to brown, which is so sad. So 2015 to 2025, this is smart home devices. Look how they have grown. And the numbers are in billions. It's amazing that how many people are getting into home automation. So why do you want to do it? It's got lots of benefits. It can control everything in real time. You could sit in your chair, you can be in another room, you can turn things on, you can turn things off. With your hub, I have one sitting right to the left here of me, your smartphone, your tablet. You can check when you're, oh my gosh, did I lock the door when I left? Well, if I don't really need to, because my lock is set in 2 minutes, it will automatically lock itself. But you can check it with your smartphone, pull to the side of the road, and yes, click, it did lock. And it makes our life easier, and it saves us time. They say, oh, you're retired now, you have all the time in the world. Well, some of us find that we almost have, we're so busy, it would have, if we were still working, we wouldn't be this busy. And your home gets to know you and your family. And it's amazing how these home automation devices can figure out your routines and things like that. I have a device that when we put mine together in the living room, we didn't bother to set up. It's self-taught. And it just fits in with everything else in the house. As I'm coming in the door, I can ask it immediately to do something, and boom, it's done. I have never bothered to set it up. And I have plugged one into one of the bedrooms, and that there's a lady in there that every time I tell my friend here to do something, she pipes up and says, like, you need to set me up here, okay? And I had a man's voice, and I guess she wasn't happy with that. So now my voice is female. I did not do that myself. So people say home automation is watching us. Well, at least they're learning from us. So what do you want for your kitchen? You have to decide, what is it you'd like to do? Do you just want smart lights? You don't want to have to flip a switch when you get into your kitchen. You can just say, turn the kitchen lights on. Do you want smart appliances? Just want some gadgets to have some fun. There's all kinds of things out there, from small stuff to your refrigerators, your stoves, your washers, your dryers, the whole 9 yards. And if you're even going to get into this a little bit, you need to have a plan. What is it I would like to do? And how much money do I want to spend? And how long do I want it to take me? So 6 months, a year. And if you roll out your home automation, anything that you decide to do in your house, doing it in stages helps you spread the cost out, and for you to learn how everything works. So which smart speaker is the best? People have Alexa. Some people have the other brand. If I say the name, she will chat with me for a minute. And you can chat with your Google Assistant. And one of my daughter's mother-in-law has the Alexa, and she chats with Alexa too. They're always nice to say when I say thank you when they do something. If you're welcome, that's my job, Judy. And so we had a presentation a few years ago on one of my Wednesday workshops, and it was robots, seniors and robots. And we don't have robots right now in our homes, but we do have smart speakers, etc., that will chat with us. So for somebody who's all by themselves quite a bit, having a smart speaker, lets them, play some music. It's like having somebody there. They're really not, but it's fun to have them around. Alexa says, would you please use the correct words? She likes answers from Wikipedia. We know who the other guy is, and he or she goes out onto the web and finds answers for us. And Alexa, they beat the other guy with shopping questions because she really wants you to spend all your money at Amazon. So you can combine your devices into rooms. You can walk into a room and say, turn on the kitchen lights. I will say, turn on, the bedroom lights. It has a name in front of it. And when I get to my bedroom, 2 lights will be turned on. I do the same thing with my family room. I have 3 lights that turn on here as I'm coming down the hall and before I turn into the dining room. And I say, turn on the family room lights, and boom, they're on, or turn them off. I'm perfectly capable of flipping switches. It's just fun to be able to say, hey, turn the lights on, turn the lights off, and things like this. So you can cook. Google Assistant, you can have recipes spoken to you as you are putting it together. Prepare the ingredients. The assistant will start reading them, and you can say next ingredient. Like we can't say these things ourselves, maybe it's a new recipe. We could go out to the internet, we could copy it, we could paste it into Word or a word processing program and print it out. But if you have either one of your friends in your kitchen, you can chat back and forth with them, so to speak, and they can walk you through the instructions. Are you somebody who likes one instruction at a time? Fine, you can take 2 or 3. Again, you can set it up how you would like it to do. Which set the timers, and you never quite remember how many teaspoons are in a tablespoon, how many cups are in a pint. You just ask your assistant, and boom, you've got the answer. Find me a lasagna recipe. I want to make banana bread. I've forgotten. How do I cream sugar and butter? Like we could really forget that. And can I replace baking soda with baking powder? And they're going to go, I don't think so. How much does this serve? How much is that in cups? Again, you'll get a copy of the presentation, or Barry will put it on the website. And I have references to everything that I'm talking about as I do this. And on the right-hand side, you can see some of the things you can say. You save your recipes. You don't have to have them in the little, 3x5 card thing we used to have. You don't have to have your recipes in that anymore. You can have music for your pay. You decide what you want to do. You just say next song. And in cooking, it's next step, please. And I do use please and thank you when I do it. And like I said, I get acknowledgments back. So Alexa, is the oven on? And microwave running? Stop the microwave. Turn off the oven. Again, we can do this ourselves. It's fun to have appliances that let us use our voice to do it. Having home automation in your home, as many people want to stay in place. They do not want to have to go someplace else to live as they get older. So having home automation where you live makes it much easier to age in place, so to speak. So you can automate your gadgets, look up recipes, convert, all of those things, and listen to music while you're doing it and having a good time. And oh my gosh, it'll even track the calories for you. So cook hands-free, interact with expert chefs just as if they're in their kitchen with you. And I tell you, you can watch your favorite show while you are cooking on the, a little flat screen like a tablet sitting next to you. What I started with was bulbs, and I used the C by GE, and I have them in all of my rooms. And like I said, I'm perfectly capable of flipping the switch when I'm going into my garage, but it's just fun to say, turn on the garage lights. Or as I'm walking out with, hands full of stuff, I just walk right by the light switch. And when I get into the kitchen, I'll say, turn off the garage lights. Again, it's helpful, but for me, it's just fun. Bill James, he uses all the Philips Hue bulbs, and they're much more expensive than something like the C by GE bulbs. But if you just want to do that and start out small, please check and make sure if the lights that you choose fit your lamps or the, chandelier or whatever, because I have, again, I see by GE, and I have 2 lights where the base isn't deep enough for me to screw the bulb in completely. So I use a Wemo smart plug to work with that. And every once in a while, my Wemo goes on strike. So my buddy here says, I'm sorry, I can't reach Wemo. So poo-poo to Wemo. You can have a device like that. There's your handheld remote. You can control your devices, up to 6 devices, works with either program. And you just set up the name of the appliance for each socket. Hey, turn off whatever. Alexa, turn off whatever you have decided to call it. And when you make up what you are going to call it, be precise. I have the hall bathroom, or I have my bedroom bathroom, and that's not what I call them, but they're different names. So when I say turn on the bathroom lights, all the bathroom lights in the house don't turn on. I specifically have, a descriptor for that. And it was interesting to see, because my oldest grandson, my techie grandson, came over, and he was fooling around, and he changed a couple of the names. And I'm thinking, come on, T, those makes absolutely no sense to me. So you're the one who sets all this up. And that little device right there that's so helpful with 6 things, $17. Here's my Wemo plug. And he or she, as the case may be, goes on strike every once in a while and doesn't work for some reason. And so I push that little button, it turns on, and it just recycles it, and off we go. This is a coffee maker. If you have an extra $150 around, you can buy a state-of-the-art remote coffee maker. Keeps it at the desired temp for 40 minutes, programmable, your own brewing taste, set alarms to have it ready whenever you want, however strong you want, and it's easy and simple to put up. That might just be the one thing that you would think. I get up in the morning and I wake up, and for me, I'm reading in bed before I get up, and I could, it would brew me a cup of coffee exactly how I want it.
Who makes that one?
Because my cats don't drink coffee, so I don't have to worry about how anybody else, likes their coffee, because it's just me. And it works with Alexa, my friend here, Nest, and many more devices. And this is Bill James, coffee maker, a rousing $800. And he waited several years to get this. And he says it is the best cup of coffee he has ever had in his whole life. So what can I tell you? It comes from Europe, but I can remember, he got it a couple of years ago, and I kept asking, has your coffee maker come yet, Bill? No, it's on its way. It was always on its way, and then it got there. just want a kettle, you want to heat your water for tea or whatever, green tea, it'll say that needs to be 80 degrees, oolong, 90, coffee, and so you figure out what you're cooking or, putting together and set the degrees on what the water should be. And that's $100. So you have to think about some of these things like this. Your kids give you presents and they say, oh, you have everything. I can never think of anything to get you. Well, you might want that smart coffee maker, or you might be a tea drinker. And just for grins, this is what you can ask for the holiday present or your birthday present. Mother's Day, Father's Day, eke it in. Here's a mug, $100 again. And it sets the temperature of your coffee or your drink of choice and keeps it there. So, and you goes to sleep when it's not needed because it's empty, wakes back up when hot liquid is poured in. And if you haven't touched your coffee cup for 2 hours, it turns itself off. And if you're into the afternoon cocktails on the patio for $370, here's a machine for your home bar. Insert a cocktail capsule, select your preferred strength, press mix, and boom. And thank you so very much. It cleans itself after each cocktail is created. And just for grins, this isn't, it doesn't have Wi-Fi, but I figure if you're going to modernize your kitchen a little bit, you may as well have a hands-free pump for your kitchen or your bathroom, so you don't have to, in my case, I go in and I have the Bath and Body stuff and I push the pump down and have one hand under there. Don't have to do that. You just wave your hand and boom, your sanitizer or your soap comes out. And I thought, if nothing else, you could start with something like this. But again, it's $45. And I got my daughter one of these. She says, Mom, I think I've seen something on TV and it's this really cool mixer that looks like it has feet. And I thought, well, okay, kid, that does look like feet. So I bought her one of these. And the last presentation I gave a couple of weeks ago, one of the members of the Los Angeles Computer Society said, hey, I have that exact one. And I thought, way cool. And she absolutely loves it. Instead of having to use a spoon or a spatula or whatever to whip up something in a pot on the stove or anything else, boom, it's there. It is battery operated. But again, it's automation because you're not using your hand or your wrist. Your wrist might be tired from doing whatever. Not with this, it just stirs everything with, and Stacy says it works wonderfully. So you can have a shopping list, paper, pencil. Oh, I'll remember that. Or you might be still thinking, well, I'll just keep that in my memory. When I get to the grocery store, I'll, forego any kind of list. And then you get home and you go, oh, darn, I forgot 2 things. Well, there is a shopping list app out there that works with our friend and Alexa, and you can add items to your phone is sitting on the counter there. You can add items to your list as you put them in your trash can. Not too shabby. There's a pantry list. I'll get home and I'll think, oh yeah, I've already got 2 of those things in my pantry. I like the mayonnaise with olive oil. And I have 3 containers in my pantry now. I will use them, but I really don't need 3 right now at this particular point in time. And I did look to make sure that, they weren't going to go dead, so to speak, anytime soon. And luckily with those 3, I will be able to use them in the time that they are still edible, so to speak. But this is just a cool thing to have. And again, if you are into computers, your phones, the automation, this is one way you can automate your grocery list or your to-do or anything like that. You can take inventory of your refrigerator before you leave. There are refrigerators that let you see inside them. as you're on the go. But if you don't want to spend the amount of money to have one like that, you got your phone there and you can just say, okay, don't buy any whipped cream. You already have 2 containers, that kind of thing. And here's, 8-in-1, pressure, slow, rice cooker, yogurt, whatever, $135. Works with Alexa, does not work with our other friend. When you are out and about and buying things, or you think my idea about your kids and presents works, make sure they know what device, what system you are using. Because if you were the person like I have here with the G word, and they bought me that, couldn't use it. So you may as well get what you want. You can receive alerts. Hey, psst, you're out front talking to a neighbor. You just ran down the block for something. You're going to get an alert that says, hey, you need to be here. We're all finished. And here's this is the one thing I don't get. I went through and verified the prices, deleted some slides because they're not available anymore. But the toaster was still $400. And that is so much more expensive than the other appliances. I can't figure out why somebody can't, design a toaster that is less than $400. Thermometer for $80. This does everything but, take itself out of the container and walk across the counter and stick itself in with whatever you are cooking. It works in-house, outside with the grill, the smoker, works with your air fryer. And here's an air fryer. They are so popular these days. But again, here's one that's you can automate with absolutely no problem at all. Works with both of our assistant friends, $140. It can say, oh yeah, you did. Yeah, I have the recipe in here. You want to cook that for X amount of minutes, and you don't have to worry about how long do I put this in the air fryer for? Do I turn the temperature up? Do I turn it down or whatever? It will keep your custom recipes for you. And the microwave oven, I guarantee you, everybody has a microwave. I'm shocked that this is only $144, really. And it works with both our friends. And you can turn it off and on any place in the house. It's got scan to cook technology. So you bought something at the store and you have absolutely no idea how long to cook it in the microwave. There's no instructions. And they have a barcode reader that will let you know how long you need to zap it. And here is they call them ranges, I call them stoves. But this is electric. I don't know of many places in California that have all electric, but I know they do other places in the States. And this is $1,800. And I chose GE just because they have the full line of appliances, and they happen to be on sale at Home Depot when I originally put this together. And you use their app on your device. They have an air fryer, it's self-cleaning. So you can, I'm on my way home, you can preheat your oven. You can say, oh my gosh, if I turn my burners off, it'll check it for you, or turn it off like my doorbell, or like my front door lock automatically. And this one has this is gas, like I would have at my house. Look how much more expensive it is. That's not too shabby when the folks, because of climate change, want to eliminate gas ranges because there's a heck of a lot less expensive to have an electric one. It's got a convection oven. You don't need a hub. Again, you are using their app. It's called Chef Connect. Dual fuel. It's got the gas on the top and electric oven. This is your refrigerator. $3,200, 4 doors. It's got a drop-in revolving door. And you know how you like, if you have an older home, you have to push your drawers all the way closed, and the newer ones, or if it's your kitchen or bathrooms have been remodeled, you just flick the drawer a little bit and it slides right in. Well, that works the same thing with this refrigerator. The entire wall, back wall of the refrigerator is lit up. And I look at this and I think, I really don't have any problems looking at the back of my refrigerator. So I don't know that this would do me any good. And one of my daughters has the French door one like this, and I can see in the back of hers too. But for some reason, they think that's a cool selling point. And if you leave your door open, you're going to get a little from your phone that says you left the kitchen refrigerator door open. But there's the little rotating shelf down there in the lower right corner. And here's the dishwasher, $1,400. That's on sale. It is way cool. When I gave this presentation, I thought, I really like that dishwasher. I bought myself one, not the Wi-Fi, because I have all made in the USA appliances, and my particular brand, Maytag, didn't have a dishwasher that was Wi-Fi. I don't know if I would bother spending more money on that or not, but I just like this. Did I need a new dishwasher? No, but I treated myself to one, and I really like that silverware thing and everything on the top. I just appeal to me for some reason. It's very quiet. Again, this one is Wi-Fi. You can tell it when to start, when it stops. It gives you all kinds of information. How do we know if our rinse is full, it's empty, whatever? With this one, Wi-Fi enabled, you will find out very easily via your phone or your tablet. Here is a softener. Many people have water softeners. We are in my valley that I live in, we can only have a certain kind. We can not have anything with salt. And so you might want a water softener. It lets you use 50% less dishwasher detergent if you care. And you get cleaner dishes with fewer spots, and you don't get water scale and build up. I never thought of, water scale building up in my water heater before, but I guess, what can I tell you? But again, you use Wi-Fi to monitor your water usage and flow rate. And if you're in the market for something like this, why not? Everybody needs a robotic vacuum. Here's our Wise vacuum, $268, which is not too shabby a price. Amazon sells these now. And this has room mapping. It's LiDAR, laser distance sensor, and it will take a tour of your room and locate all the things that, it shouldn't bump into, on all that good kind of stuff. And it is Wise. Many people in APCUG have one of these robots, and many, many people have gone from whatever home automation products they were using, like speakers and outdoor lights and indoor security lights, have gone to the Wise brand because it is relatively inexpensive compared to other brands. And it was put together by 3 kids who worked at Amazon, and they were looking at the speaker outdoor light and they thought, these are really expensive. So they left Amazon. They started their own company, and that's history. They have to be making money hand over fist now. They come out with new stuff all the time. They have a bathroom scale that tells you everything but the kitchen sink about yourself, your BMI, the whole 9 yards, $30. All of their things are relatively inexpensive. Bill James has a house full of these types of devices. And again, It's got an app. It works really great. And you can set it to, clean your rugs and your floors at 2 a.m. when you're sleeping. Close your bedroom door, just whips right on by. And when you get up in the morning, your house, carpet, floors, etc., are clean. And his runs at 2 a.m. on Tuesdays and I believe Fridays. And the dogs sleep through the whole thing. So here we go. That is Herman down in the lower right-hand corner. That is Bill's. To the left, Rosie lives in Illinois, and Jasmine loves to sit on top of the vacuum. And their living is upstairs. The office and everything is downstairs. And Rosie has never fallen down the stairs. She knows, she just chugs right on by. Miss Alice, she lives in New Mexico. That is Bob Gastich's robotic vacuum. And I understand that he decided to buy a different brand, and his real Alice said, you get Miss Alice, I added the Miss to it, get Miss Alice back here, I like her better. But in Bill James' house, every single home automation appliance, light, whatever, has a name. And this is Sudsy. This works with Alexa and your G friend. And this Sudsy sits in the hallway between the kitchen and the garage. And it starts, it stops, it monitors, it tells you, hey, I'm finished with the clothes now. We've just never figured out how he could say, okay, then pop them over to the dryer. That doesn't work. And again, it is smart. And he just sits in his chair. And when Sudsy gets in touch and says, I'm finished, Bill, then he gets up and puts his clothes into the dryer, whose name is Bounce. And I love this third bullet point down. Signals when clothes are correct dampness for ironing. Do people still iron? But I guess if you ironed, you could put, and they were all worked color-wise together, you could do a load of, these are the things that I'm going to iron, and it will let you know when you should get up out of your chair, turn on your iron, and start working. Also, I think this is cool. It gives you an alert when something is stuck in the vent. You get things stuck in the vent, you can have a fire. None of us want that. And if he's watching, well, he doesn't watch that much TV, working on the computer, listening to his classical music, it will say, okay, Bill, I'm finished now. And he's not ready to get up and take the clothes out. And so, however many minutes later, it'll say, like, Bill, you really need, and it has started itself again to make sure that things don't wrinkle. So again, he has Sudsy and Bounce, lives with Bill. And there they are. And, oh, look, he's got an ironing board. What do you want to bet he doesn't ever use it? You can have a smoker, broiler, outside on the patio, $390, so to speak. And you just set it up and you go in the house and it's like set it and forget it. Many of the home automation appliances are just like that. You set it, you forget it, turns itself on, it monitors all this, that, and the other thing, and then lets you know when, hey, I'm finished cooking, it's time for dinner. And this is his pellet barbecue on his patio in Midwest City. And he uses this continuously when the weather is good. And he can be in his office area. Heck, he can even be in bed and turn it on, turn it off. It monitors, it lets him know what the status is. And he just loves his pellet video. And of course, his name is Mr. Smokey. So think about, if you're going to do this, you're only going to get a couple of things. We'll make sure that everything works together. You want to make sure it works with the 2 or the Apple Assistant. If you're into that, they're more expensive than Miss A and Mr. G, but make sure everything is going to work together. How many apps do you want on your phone that you use? That's why I chose one brand, GE. They're going to have an app that is specific to their brand of products. So that is just one app that could do your microwave, your stove, your refrigerator, your washer, your dryer. So you have to think about things like that if you go this route. And they use Wi-Fi. My computer, my printers, my smart TV, I'm all Ethernet. Spectrum says I am too far from the node at the bottom of the hill. That's where the access comes in. And the repeat that is across the street and 3 houses down, that doesn't do me much good. So I'm hardwired for that. My home automation is all Wi-Fi. That don't forget, when you get a router, you need to rename it. Change your default username and password, because that brand of routers might use the same username and password for every single brand that they sell. So if you don't change it, and if you've got one now and you've never changed it, you should. And use a strong, unique password or passphrase. You have a password manager, that's great. You can have all your information in there. If you're somebody who has it in a notebook, you know, whatever, make sure the handwriting is legible. I gave my digital asset executor presentation, and this guy said, really? He said, I've never thought about the fact that my handwriting isn't going to be legible to anybody else. So I have all my usernames and passwords in there, and I realize it's not going to do my executor any good. So if your handwriting is like that, think about the same thing for your home automation. Are they going to be able to demonstrate it when somebody comes to buy the house or whatever? Or are they up a creek without knowing the username and password? Keep your network, router, software, and firmware up to date. You want, again, the best security you possibly can. You don't want somebody somewhere else turning your appliances off and on. And reboot it regularly, just like you do your computer. That every couple of weeks, at least reboot it once a month. And depending upon which internet provider you have, you might give them a call and say, okay, do you have a preferred sequence? Do you turn the modem off and then the router? Or do you turn the router off and then the modem? How long should I leave them off? More than a minute, you should. But again, there's a sequence to doing it. And everything comes back on exactly as it was when you rebooted your network, okay? And if you have lots of guests, Bill James suggests you set up a guest network so people can't get in and muck around with what you have, everything set up in the house. Okay. Read the security policies for everything. Make sure that if they say you really should turn on 2FA, if that is something that you do, then use 2FA for your various and sundry devices. And people say, I know they're listening to me, just turn them off. They don't have to, if you're not using them, you don't need to have them on. They don't mind. And this is all the things that I got stuff from Amazon, Home Depot, Best Buy, Spin, Wise. House Beautiful had a list of gadgets, and my cartoon is from The Joy of Tech. And I am finished. Are there any questions? Did I inspire you to ask your kids or grandkids for anything for your birthday or your holidays?
Does anybody own any of these devices now?
Yeah, Judy.
So if I only have old lamps and old fixtures, what's the first step I have to take?
Okay, I would make sure it's turned off and measure how deep where you're going to plug the light in. I didn't even think about this. And make sure, and then when you go out and buy something, how big is what you are going to screw in. I have a hanging lamp, wrought iron lamp over my kitchen table. In order for me to use something there, I have to do the switch in the kitchen because it's hardwired to the switch. But my CGE bulbs don't fit. You can't screw them in all the way. So I would have to go to a different brand of bulb. I didn't even think about that. The same thing with my pole lamp over my chair here. I have it set. I don't use this part of it. I use the part that just goes over my shoulder and focuses on the book that I'm reading. If I'm not on the computer or gardening, I'm reading a book. And it has to be plugged into Wemo because, again, the socket isn't long enough for me to screw a bulb in. I didn't know about that. You guys.
Another alternative you might think of instead of doing just the bulbs is getting just the plug that you can get, and then you can run any devices from that, and they're only like about $10 a pop.
My Wemo is 17.
Yeah. Another suggestion.
There's Amazon has their own brand.
True. I'm got an Amazon system here, and something that keeps me, because I've got 4 or 5 different names, but the generic name I use for my house is Lady A. So when I talk about Lady A, nobody responds, but now I've got a generic name that I can talk about. Like you could make yours General G or something like that, or C or whatever. Yeah. Instead of just going, I got confused the first few times.
Oh, yeah, he just sits right over here and he likes to answer any questions I pose. But, and again, I have not set up my smart TV. They've worked together and set themselves up.
Exactly.
Works for me.
So what's there for a human being to do anymore?
Well, it all depends. Like I say, I am very capable of doing this. Like, I just laugh. And when I go in the garage, I just open the door and stand there and say, and boop, I could reach my hand around and do that. I want to age in place here. So for safety, I'm turning the lights on as I go to bed. I go through the family room, the dining room, down the long hall, and turn left.
You can also set it up with
that alone is a safety. You walk in your front door and you don't have a switch. It's dark. You just walk in the front door and say, turn on the living room lights. And if you have 2 or 3 lights in there, boom, they come on. Bill James has all of his stuff grouped like that.
Yeah, you can also set it up as a motion detector also. So as you come in, it recognizes you and just turns on those specific items as well. So I've got that in my hallway going to the bathroom, so I don't have to do that every time I go there.
But it's number one, if nothing else, forget the kitchen, it's safety.
Exactly.
Bill James has been working with one of his best friends who's no longer around, and his wife was never really interested in computers. It was their thing. Her house is completely animated for music now. She is so darned excited. It is incredible. She has music wherever she goes in any of the rooms in her house. And that alone makes her a very happy camper.
Judy, do any of these things work with Siri, Apple's voice assistant?
Yes, very expensive. Yeah, that's the Apple brand is much more expensive than the other two.
And more limited.
Yeah, it's kind of in a square, small little box here, and the rest of them, it's a free for all. A lot more devices work with the other two than Apple. And again, if you're an Apple person, that's what you've got. You need to make sure that whatever you buy works with Apple, or you're going to end up with 16,000 apps on your phone.
Exactly.
For your different appliances and whatever.
So each of these devices has its own individual password.
Could.
So if you're at the grocery store and it's late and you want your house to be animated or lit up when you arrive home, can you tell an app when you're in the store to turn on your lights?
Bill
Yes.
does that when he travels to Santo Domingo.
There's a second way to do that also, and that's to put your phone within a range. And as soon as you're coming home and you're within a mile or a half a mile of your house, it turns it on automatically.
Mhm.
And you can do the same thing with the temperature of your house. If you're starting to come home, it'll change the temperature from hot and lower the temperature of your place so that it's cool by the time you get there.
Hmm.
One
And-
of my friends has a second home up in the mountains where it's snowy and colder than heck. And that's exactly what they do. They don't want to walk into a cold house,
Mhm.
and they could set the, to do it, but they do it with the phone.
Yeah.
And boom, it works just fine. Again, you have to think, what is it I want to do?
I saw,
If they have a garage openers, well, we all probably have, clickers. Oh my gosh, did I forget to close the garage when I left? Well, if you have one that's, part of your home automation, you just pick up your phone and, close.
Yeah. Also, a lot of the stuff that you're showing works really well with people with disabilities. I'm losing my sight and I am legally blind at this point. For me to find those little numbers on the microwave and punch in the right series of numbers, it's a lot easier to set it for 1 minute and 27 seconds just by telling it rather than to find all those numbers and get it to work right.
Mhm.
absolutely for accessibility. I would agree. So I saw Samsung has a TV built into the refrigerator.
Yes.
You can actually watch TV while you're, eating there. Open the refrigerator, close it, and it will also tell you, if your milk is going sour, if you need to change this or that, or if your ice maker is not making enough ice. It's amazing what that line of Samsung. Don't forget them. They're also great.
They are on the extremely high end of everything.
They are. They
So
are.
it's like my kids say, my kids are, hi there. Oh, I had to just have, I'm sorry, a dove come up and try to light on my sliding door. And now he's sitting on the table on the patio.
Mhm.
I guess
Waiting for
spring
tea.
is here. I had a red-tailed hawk do a stop and go in my backyard at my last presentation. Oh my, there's his buddy.
Well, it's springtime.
And the when the red-tailed hawk took off and he went that way with that tail spread out like that, I was just absolutely incredible. But yeah, you have to decide what you're going to do and how much money you want to spend.
Do you have a
If you
ring?
even want to do this, and will it be worthwhile for you? And again, like Don said, for aging in place and disabilities, all of this stuff is fantastic. At a minimum, get a smart lock. I have a Yale smart lock and I have my code. But I gave this group presentation to another group in Florida, and one gal said, I came down from up north. They had a hurricane. It was gone, but the electricity was off. She couldn't get into her house because the Wi-Fi was down. So if you get a smart lock, you want to make sure you get one that also has a key. And the Yale lock does.
Or a
And-
touchpad.
Yeah, and don't forget the enabled cameras for Wise and Ring and stuff also.
Mhm.
The doorbell.
Yep, your doorbell cams. And
It's-
remember, a passphrase is better than a password. I have a friend whose Win 11 computer I just set up for her, and she uses nursery rhymes. And she has them all up here. And I noticed at the end of her password list that she had that, by the way, she called password. So if somebody hacked into her computer, they would have all her passwords. I said, please change the name of your list.
Really?
Okay. And down at the bottom, she had a whole bunch of spare, selections of, nursery rhymes. And I thought, how clever you are.
Really?
And she uses the first letter of every one and puts a couple of numbers in. And like Abby Stokes used to say, put a couple of letters in so that's the password for your refrigerator.
Mhm.
Mhm.
She didn't use refrigerator, but you might want to use RF. or WA, washer,
Mhm. Right.
DR, dryer, something like that. So, you have little Mary had a lamb, blah, blah, and then identify it with
And
something
you
else.
must write all these passwords down because you need it for legacy.
Well, you have a
somebody's got to
password
be
manager.
able.
You have a password manager that you use, and you're one of the smart kids. And if you're not, you have a list that you maybe want to encrypt the file, but God knows you don't want to call it password like Carolyn did. And I mean, it didn't even dawn on her. And she's so far from the node, her existing Wi-Fi is really low. The city is attending to buy us another node on my street, which sucks big time. But you need to think about all these things. You might
Judy-
think this is really fun, but it's not for me. I don't want to spend the money. But here Don is living the life with what is happening to him.
Yes.
And my daddy, who had macular degeneration back in the day, this certainly would have helped him.
Yep.
Yep.
Helps a lot.
What would you recommend as good resources for home automation that they can go to, Judy?
And I Google. You want
Really?
to do something, Google the question. When I Google the question, I do a complete sentence. I figure
Yes.
when I would teach the class, it was keywords. Remember, you have to use those keywords. No, you really don't. So I ask you a question. I ask my Google friend a question, and I type it all out, and I figure he's smart enough to pull out what information he needs, or maybe there's some Miss Google for all we know, the information, and I always get terrific answers.
Mhm.
And then I don't accidentally choose the wrong keyword.
Okay, are there any further questions or comments?
I have another primitive question.
Yes.
So I have never rebooted my router, and I don't know what, do you unplug it? How do you,
Yeah.
I don't know what it means to reboot a router.
Oh,
Yeah, you unplug it.
wait 20 seconds, plug it back
No.
in.
So
Absolutely.
everything that's plugged into it, I take out?
Nope.
Nope.
You just unplug
power.
your electrical cord. Don't pay attention to Don G over there. You need to keep it turned off a minimum of a minute.
There is a power connector there, cord. You just
Yeah,
pull the power
again.
out of the back, and then it will give it about 30 seconds or more, and then plug it back in. And if you
Judy,
have
don't pay
lights
any
on,
attention to Barry.
Okay.
Leave it turned off for at least a minute.
okay.
Needs to power itself totally down, just
So
like
it's a
your
little
computer.
black thing that I pull out?
It's your
Yes.
electrical cord.
Okay.
Okay, and the
Three
same,
things plugged in, and I'm not really sure what they are at this point. It's been plugged in a while.
The one that plugs in the wall.
yeah, the one that
I'll
plugs in the
all
wall.
right.
Yeah, so kind of tug on it and go
Yep.
and see
Okay.
which one is moving down close to where
And
you
then
have
it just
plugged
resets
in.
itself automatically when I plug it
Yeah.
back in?
Life, you plug it back in, life goes on, just like your computer.
Okay. Now,
You
what is the
got-
advantage of that again? Why are you supposed to do that?
You just should.
Okay.
Okay, Judy, this is one of those mother things. You just should.
Okay.
You know how that goes.
It's like
And
cleaning up.
it's even worse with Grammy things.
It's
You
like
just-
cleaning up the kitchen. Every
Yes,
once in a while, you just have to clean everything out, but you're not sure why, but you just clean it all out. And that's what it does when you reboot it like that.
if I'm a person who I say at least turn your computer off every 2 or 3 days, if nothing else, once a week. I actually leave my computer on until it says, "Hey, kid, you really don't have any memory left. You have done all of this stuff," because it's like I still am working and I'm making a lot of drafts, so it's painful to.
Yep.
We have a
Reboot.
question from
But
Dorothy.
you need to reboot your computer. You need to reboot your modem.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Dorothy, go
Dorothy,
ahead.
we see you.
I'm in the market for new appliances for my kitchen. Are the other appliances also smart appliances? Because I have a problem with size. And I can only get a refrigerator that's a certain size. And I don't think GE makes one for my size. Like
And
is it
where
Frigidaire?
would you go to buy these appliances?
I could either go to Best Buy or BrandSmart or any place.
And you're gonna go there and ask.
Okay,
Exactly.
okay,
I wanna
And
see-
don't let them sell you the most expensive one in the store.
No.
Do your
okay.
homework, use the shopping apps for the
Yeah.
manufacturers or whatever. Do
Well,
your-
my problem is the size.
Yeah.
You know, that I don't have, I'm pretty limited as far as the size that's gonna fit in my space.
Well, they
Right.
give you specifications on the site for the
I know.
items.
Well,
know.
on
I
your
know.
search, just say, I want to do a 24-inch smart refrigerator. Bam.
Right.
And they'll
Yeah.
go with that size and make it smart and give
Right.
you the options.
Or
Okay.
you can go to the
Good.
store and ask somebody,
Same thing. Exactly.
and then you can look at it at the same time.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
But like I said, start small, light bulbs. Start small, door lock,
Switches,
ring doorbell, switches.
plugs.
Have to do the appliances and stuff like that to to age in place. It's all the rest of the stuff that you need to take care of, your locks, your lights,
Yeah.
your speakers in every room like Bill's, friend has now. I mean, she just thinks that's the greatest thing that ever came down the pike. So you don't have to run out and, unless you need a large appliance, but remember the coffee pot, remember the tea kettle, birthdays, Mother's Day, Father's Day. You're the person who has everything that people can't buy for.
how about generic brands of these things as opposed to the actual manufacturer's brand? I've seen them in Walmart and things like that. They have different names, but they essentially do the same. And
I
they're
don't see what difference it would make, except you're gonna have an app for each and every
Yeah.
one of those.
Got to make
Okay.
it all compatible. And that's one of the things you need to look at on who has the most compatibility with what. And there's two levels of that. One of them is the hub that you use that accepts the information. And the other one is that one that controls the behavior that's on your phone.
Mhm.
Judy
I
has a
have-
final question. I'm sorry.
I
Yeah, you
have
said
a-
you had a $17 Waymo.
Yeah,
All right,
Wemo.
so I'm looking online, it says $27, $40, $65. Where did you buy yours for 17 or 19?
I got mine at Amazon in a packet of like 3. I've used 2 of those 3.
Are you
So
looking at bulbs or plugs?
I just
She's talking-
punched in
again,
WEMO.
Oh,
Amazon
okay.
brand is probably going to be the least expensive.
Yeah, TK Casa is also pretty inexpensive with a wide, broad acceptance also.
Yeah.
And when they have those Prime days, those are the things that usually go on sale first. You can still go to
Exactly.
Amazon's site,
Exactly.
and if
Yeah.
you click on Prime and see if you get discounted things. And there are many apps that you can use, like Honey, things or sites or extensions they call them, that will check prices to see when there's a price drop. You can put the item there and leave it in a save, and then as the price drops, you'll be notified. And that's the way to do it. So that's how.
And bear in mind, your local stores drop their prices during Prime season.
Yep.
Last year, we had Prime Day, I believe, in July.
Yep.
Everybody and their brother, I get stuff from Home Depot, and every day it was lower on stuff because they were in competition with Amazon.
Exactly.
And Best Buy is the same thing. Walmart, I mean, their Prime emails went on forever.
And some will match.
Yeah. Best Buy will match.
Yes.
At least they used to.
And
So will
Judy,
Office Depot.
Judy, you're going to send me a handout or something.
Yes.
What will it be on? What will it contain?
My presentation is a PDF.
Okay.
Great. I appreciate that. And I thank you for attending and giving us such an informative and entertaining presentation. Let's give her a sitting ovation before we
Yep.
leave.
What was the brand name of the coffee maker you were talking about? The smart coffee maker.
I have no clue. All that is covered up when
It's
I'm
on the
giving
test. I'll go check it
presentation,
out on
but
the
but
slideshow.
it's on there, and I
Okay,
checked.
thank you.
They are available. Like I said, I had to take 3 or 4 things off that don't exist, or you can buy them on SD.
Oh, right.
Somebody bought a bunch, and
On
a
Etsy.
couple of them were really it's like one of them was a barcode reader that was attached to your trash can.
Wow.
That when you threw something in the trash, you whipped the barcode reader and it turned it in on your phone into your list,
Shopping list.
you know, and
Yeah.
it's no longer, I thought that was really clever.
Yeah, Amazon is set with a shopping list that you can tell it anywhere in the house. When you use the last one, you just say, Amazon put toilet paper on the list. And that list then reappears and takes it off the list as you put it in the cart at the grocery store.
And you
Very well
believe you
done.
can also
Oh my
program these.
gosh, how fantastic is that? I wonder if my buddy here does the same thing.
Yeah.
Maybe,
And-
maybe not.
You can also program these to speak in your language.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, if
And you
English
can
is
choose-
not.
And you can choose people from England, if you like somebody, male or female, with an English accent. You can customize your buddy however you want to. The one
Absolutely.
thing that my daughter's mother-in-law loves about Miss A is it's company for her because
Absolutely.
it talks back. It's not that she's not out and about down at the senior center and volunteering and stuff, but it's quiet. And when she says something, she gets a response. And that just breaks the quiet. And she's the least technology-oriented person in the whole free world.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
folks,
agree.
it's time for me to go. I want to thank you all for attending. It's been a very, thank you, Judy, again, for being a good friend. And I will answer that question you have about reports, you know, after we're over this meeting.
Thanks.
And in 2 weeks, May the 5th, I believe it is, we'll be doing Geeks on Tours coming in. They're now in Georgia at an RV convention. They'll be returning and doing another special presentation on a hodgepodge of tips and tricks, and you know how good they are. And so I want to wish all of you to be safe and healthy and happy. And until we meet again, this is Barry Cowan, the president of the Deerfield Beach Computer Club, saying so long.
So long.
Thank you.
Have a
Thank
nice
you very
weekend.
Bye-bye,
much.
everyone. This video will be posted by tomorrow morning. Go to the club site, to YouTube, and then you can check it out either on your device or on whether you're using a tablet or computer, whatever. It will be under YouTube on our videos. It should be posted tomorrow. Okay,
Excellent. Yes.
everyone?
You bet.
And when she sends me the handout, I'll make sure that that is posted under our handouts. Please check the website periodically. I am posting and changing things constantly. So stay well. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.